Please subscribe. It's all right. All you gotta do is hit that. All you gotta do is hit that. Bruh. I don't know if I'm a fucking lion or a retarded pumpkin. Either way, I give it my best shot here every day. I'm trying to bring the flame-ass picks this year. I've already started pretty well. No big-time runners yet, but pretty much everything I've been saying does go up. A lot of my subscribers, everything they say does go up. This is very clutch. This is very key. This is very good start to 2023. I did not mean to rhyme that, and I do not mean to be me, but I'm on a tree with a bumblebee, and we're just on our knees like, thank God, and please, please bring us to the trees. Make sure to never do that again. But anyway, so yeah, you know, this is going to be a good year. I can already feel it. I can tell that the market is going to be very giving, at least for the time being. There has been good movement in the market over pretty much every stock that we've been looking at. They've been going on multiple day runs, which is not like it was at the end of the year last year. It could have been, had a lot to do with tax selling. I'm not exactly sure. But either way, the one thing that I wanted to at least touch on today before I get into the stocks, because I don't have a lot of time, and I will continue this as like a couple more lessons to really go over things, but we're going to talk about MM. So basically what they are is they are the market makers. They control the price action of a stock. It used to be a human behind a computer, somebody that would be basically taking orders and it was like a whole thing. I'm not exactly sure how that worked, but nowadays there's like NITE, there's CDEL, there's ONTX, there's all different types of market makers that are basically, it's a company that controls the algorithms, but they are algorithms in a computer. That's why sometimes things trade weird. Sometimes it seems like there's a hidden hand that's stopping the price from going up. And a lot of times that's because the company has given one of these market makers shares to sell into the open market. If it's a big time control block, or if it's a significant amount of shares, or if it's preferred that are convertible, whatever the case may be, if the company needs to sell shares into the market, they're going to go to one of these houses like an NITE, like a CDEL, and they're going to give them shares to sell into the market because they're not going to do it from their cell phones. That's what these pump and dumps are, is they pump the price and then they get the makers to. That's why you have to watch what the market makers are doing and understand what they're doing. You don't necessarily have to look at level 2. You could see this with a blind eye. You could see the 10K ask iceberg orders. You can see the blatant manipulation. When people are saying manipulation, they're not actually talking about manipulation. They're talking about dilution for the most part. Sometimes, yes, an algorithm can be heavy to the downside or to the upside. There could be short strap that sends it to the upside. There could be a multitude of things. But for the most part, if you see some type of hidden hand there that's like, fuck, I cannot get through this. I don't understand what the deal is. Why can't I buy into the ads? And the price doesn't move, kind of like TPTW. You buy into 17, you buy 2 million shares, the ass doesn't move. Why? Because there's more shares there. And that's obvious because at the end of the day, you you have a 10 million, which is almost double the amount of the volume of the day in dilution. Now, it's not dilution that's hitting the bid, but it is dilution, and it's coming on the ask at 17. That's why it's an immovable ask. It is not trading clean. But these are things that I can see without looking at L2. L2 is a tool to see where the market makers are. If you could see how many market makers are on a certain price. You could see who's above who. You could see who's on the bid, who's below the person on the bid. And you can kind of see the money flow and how the money's coming in and how the money's going out. And that's important to understand. In fact, that's one of the most important things in penny stocks, period, is to know how the makers operate, where the algorithm wants to go, and if the dilution is hitting the market via the market makers. So I'll get more into who these market makers are, who the ones that tend to be dilutive, even though they pretty much all can be. OTCX, I guess off the top of my head, will be one. What's another one? There's plenty. I can't think of any off the top of my head, and I got to keep this flow going, so I can't really think about it. But either way, there's plenty of them. They're out there. You want to avoid these, and I will compile a list for later in the week, or whenever I do the follow-up video on this. Just know that, not only do you need to know that these are scams and they are to be flipped, they are pumps and dumps. They are planted CEOs by private equity that are there to take your money. That is all they're here to do. They do not give a fuck about you. Just like our government doesn't give a fuck about our health, the people that run these stocks, the criminals behind them, do not give a fuck about you, and that is guaranteed. So anytime you see a CEO talking big, like he's trying to save your life or he's trying to bring your family out of poverty, say hell no, goodbye, see you later. You're not going to fool me, because you've been fooled once. I'm sure you have. So don't get fooled twice. You might get fooled 100,000 times like it took me before I realized it, because goddamn, they are good salesmen. But once you realize it, then everything becomes easier. And that's when you've graduated, you paid your tuition, and you're ready to start winning. So without further ado, let's start winning again. We had our first loss on BMXI. Last time I took a loss on BMXI, I went on a fucking like 1,000% run over multiple stocks. Let's hit it again. We're going in hard. 2023. Can't stop, won't stop. Rockefeller record could be. Oh, get down, baby. Because technical difficulty there. Let's pull this up. Let's pull up the chart, shall we? This is ONCS. This is what I like. This is something that I've been preaching for a while now. If you could see this, by the way, my time frames are always a daily candle, and usually it's either a month. It depends on the chart, but it's usually about a month out, just so I could see where the price is coming from. I could kind of map it out. I keep it simple. Just Bollinger Bands, RSI, and MACD on this chart specifically. I mean, your MACD is incredible. It's just slowly moving up, which is what you want to see. So it's not overbought. Your RSI is not overbought. It's just crossing into the hot zone now. It's getting to the upper side of that rectangle. Then your Bollinger Bands. I mean, you've respected this line. You've showed it respect. You've eaten the Denny Moore when your father brings you out of your cage and beats the shit out of you and then feeds you dog shit on the ground. You have respected him to that, and you have delivered, and you have lived that life, and you have guaranteed your escape from that maniacal situation. You are in the clear. You have respected. And that's exactly what this stock did to that middle orange line, and now it's getting sent off of it. Now it's going up, and I think that it's about to pop through 260 and run like a mug. I think it's going to run to 350. I think that's where it's headed. You could say I'm lying. You could say I'm dumb. You could say I'm a dreamer, but at the same time, this thing looks good to me. So all I'm going to do is tell the truth, because that's all I can do. TPTW. Another classic, beautiful start of a W here. I mean, look, this thing tends to run off that W formation. You had the pop, or no, you had the big drop, you had the walkthrough, you had the up, you had the down, you had the O, you had the W. Now you have it all the way down here. Now, if you can see closely, if you look at this a little bit zoomed out, you could see that there's a W forming on the bottom, on this bottom here. I would give it a day or two. I think that Thursdays are a great news day, so I do think that there's a very strong strong chance that this is bottom and news will come out tomorrow, given it's Thursday. If you get a close over 23, let's say it's a close at 3, you're probably going to run up to 4 on Friday or Monday. I think that if the news is good, you could see a serious run in this, at least 100%. So I am there. I am loaded. I bought 4 million shares today at 17, and I am sticking with it. Your MACD is great. Your RSI is great. Your Bollinger Bands are hitting. You're fine. Let's get it. BBRW. Which it sounds like BBW, and it should, because it is a fat fuck. BBRW is a bloated pig. It's like a 900-pound chick that you get at the bar wasted. You wake up the next day and you literally call your doctor and say, is there any legal way to put me down because of what I've done? You pray to God, he doesn't answer. You talk to your family, they disown you. I'm talking the fattest John, like one that when she walks down the street, it makes water jostle, just like a T-Rex in Jurassic Park. Same idea. I'm talking about she shows up on a blind date with you and she's chugging beers talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers around your friend's family, which has happened to me before, believe it or not. So, that's what BBRW is. It's a dilutive pig. The people who run it are scam artists. But it did have a strong push through 4 at the end of the day. I did take a starter at 4. So I do think that the bid is going to hold up now. I do think that 3 is going to get tapped, but I don't think it's going to get sold out. It might, though, because of the dilutive nature of this company. You can see that the OS is always ballooning. You can see these things, so you know that's the only thing that scares me away from this, unlike KEGS that had good push all the way through. I just don't know if BBRW does it because of the bloated share structure, and it's just, I don't like management. They're just pieces of shit. They've gone through reverse split after reverse split, dilution. It's just a cycle for them. So I don't know how much further it gets off this bottom, but if you did get in 1 or 2 and you've made over 100%, good on you. You bought at the right time. Let's see where it goes from here. KEGS. This one's been pulling back a little bit, but it has been holding strong. I mean, look, you got this. Now you had a little bit, but you're getting this perfect downside here. I'm not in love with it. I'm really not. I think that it's going to come back down to trip 6 given time. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe that changes to 7, 8. Somewhere in that area over time, but your MACD is way overbought right here. Your RSI is in the hot zone and looks like it wants to come back. You just don't get the candles on the daily that I want to see for continuation, and you're coming back to that middle Bollinger Band, in my opinion. So I would just remember that you don't have to chase these things. This is what charts are for. They are not going to predict the future, but they can predict your entry and your exit, and this is a beautiful one for that, because I do think that if you buy here, you are buying too high. That does not mean that they could come out with some kind of wild news tomorrow and it could keep running, but any type of delay in the OTC will cause a sell-off that you wouldn't even think is possible, and that would be a 50% haircut to trip 7, trip 8, in my opinion. CGRA. This one ran right up to that middle line, respected it to a slave, like a slave to a slave master on a slave ship that's in the middle of the fucking Atlantic Ocean with no land in sight. Land ho, no. Okay, you're on that boat. You're going to respect those men that's got the whips, that's got you in chains, and as your daily portion of soup. Okay, this is respect, and that's exactly what it did to this middle line. Look, it comes up, it rides it, and then it's just getting sent back down. Now, are you going to get that green candle with news above that middle line that keeps it running above? Probably, in my opinion. But I don't know when that's going to come. I think it could consolidate for a little bit longer. I don't know how long it's going to take for news. It could be a week. It could be a month. But the guy, Nick Line, who's the scammer behind this entire stock, he hinted at news somehow like 2 weeks ago, right before the beginning of the new year. So it could be a runner soon. Your MACD looks great. Your RSI looks great. You're not overbought. This is another, it looks a lot like TPTW and could turn out very, very similarly. So that's that. KERN, big runner. Shout out to Anonymous in my subscribers. He called this one. I think he caught it a couple weeks ago, maybe sooner. But this thing went nuts after hours. Must have had good news. But again, I remember when I saw this chart, I said, I don't know how long this is going to take, but eventually this will run. It seems like the volume was kind of dead, but I could just see by the chart it had this sell off, especially if you're zoomed out. You could see this better. It had a strong dip. Now it's starting to run. It got all the weak hands out. That's where the weak hands are. They're selling the bottom. It's not the people that are selling the top. Those are smart traders. So whenever you get to the top and you're selling, you don't have weak hands. You don't have paper hands, you have diamond hands. Why? Because there's actually money in them. So there you have worth. Whereas if you don't sell and you think you have diamond hands, your hands are going to burn up to a smoldering crisp, and the only thing left is going to be bone that you're going to pick your teeth with. Understand? Good. Because if you don't, you're going to end up losing in this game, and there's nothing I can do to save you. But Kern ran huge after hours all the way to $2. Incredible 90% push in after hours, which is insane. Good on you. I hope that you made some money, you got out. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe it runs like a mug tomorrow. But it did pull back a little bit. No, but it's fine. Like, I don't know what came out. You might get a really good push tomorrow morning. So good luck. PRTY. This will be a good buy spot if you were going to buy this. Now, you might get a little bit of a sell-off tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure. This had a great opportunity. When it was at 17, a friend of mine did hit this up for me. He was like, yo, buy 17. I should have listened. I almost did. But I just wasn't sure if it was going to have something going down the next day. It didn't. It ended up popping over 100%, which was incredible. He made money, went all the way to 65 cents, which is incredible. That's a nice run, but obviously you're going to sell that pre-market because you know that they're going to have a down day. They're not just going to keep running continuously. But either way, this was a great push, and it could have more in the tank. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to track this and see what happens from here. But it's definitely, it's got a lot of volume. It's got a lot of interest. It's a bankruptcy play, and it could be got a lot, have a lot more in the tank. HIJACK's piece of shit. I told everybody this. Now this is as a cult following, led by some dumbass that thinks that she's hot shit, but she's really not. She sucks at trading. Always a winner. Never taking losses. Saving the planet. Riding a bike to not pollute. Saving her local pet store with the funds she received from one of these big runners, goes to all the luncheons for the seniors. All these pumpers are perfect citizens, okay? But it's all bullshit. It's all lies. It's all to get you sucked into their persona. I'm here saying facts. I'm here saying truth. And I'm telling you when I lose and when I win. And I can tell you when this IJAX was up at this middle band, I was the one saying sell it. I was the one saying sell it at up near 4. That's 50% less than where it is, or more than where it is now. Actually, it's 100% more because from 2.1 to 4, you got to get 100%. But if you bought it for, you're down 50%. And I was telling you to sell up there, not buy. Now, there was other people that, again, have gone to every funeral for every fireman in their town. They've basically saved children from hunger in India, personally with their bare hands. And they've fed children from their mouth. If you hear those type of words, don't believe them. They're lying. And I said, you're riding this way. It's getting respected, like a father to his son, to a slave to his master. You know the whole nine. And what happened? The thing tanked, and everybody said I was a stupid idiot, and everyone said I was a moronic mushroom. And that's fine. Say whatever you want to say, but in the end, I'll always be right because only the truth will be told. And even if I'm wrong 50% of the time, I'm right every single fucking time. See how that works? Does that make sense? Okay, and this tanked, and that I was right. And I'm usually, if I'm calling tank, you were warned. You better be careful. Seriously, JAGX. Nice little day today, 15%. This thing has been popping right off the bottom. Looks beautiful. You're getting a little bit overbought, at least on the RSI. Your MACD looks great right here. Everything looks pretty good. I mean, your accumulation is up. You have a lot of green volume. So the volume is there. How high does this go? I'm not sure, but it could run very high. I do like this. You're not in the power zone yet on the RSI, so it's not like you're overbought. JAGX. That seems like a good one moving forward. I have no problem with this. Now, this Bitcoin, how do you even do it? You know, it's so dumb. No, Bitcoin X, right? I mean, is this it? You know, I don't know. I've never pulled up a chart of this, and it's not going to show it. But either way, just real quick about Bitcoin. Look, have your fun, make your money. It's just like it's just like playing a penny stock. It's a pure gamble. It might not be necessarily a scam, but it's a scam. I don't know who runs it, neither do you. Neither do the people who started it. They don't even know who ran it. It's an imaginary man in the sky. Okay, so is it government controlled? Who's the one pulling the levers, okay, behind Bitcoin? I'm not sure. The fact of the matter is, I don't even know enough about it. But you know what? I do know that it's a scam because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to you. It doesn't make any sense to me. And again, it makes no sense to the people who even created it. Because if you go to 7-Eleven and the cost of Bitcoin is going up 20 to 30% up or down in a day, how do you price items? It just doesn't make sense. It's retarded. It's like stupid. And that's why when it was up at 70, it's still way overbought. It's coming from zero. The people who made money in Bitcoin already made it. Now it's a flip stock until it loses pretty much all interest completely. Remember, when you have Uber drivers telling you about the next big thing in the stock market, chances are it's over fucking bought. And that's exactly what was happening. Your goddamn, every fucking worker on the street, people that were flagging you down for parking were like, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. Like, no, dude, that's not when you buy Bitcoin. That's when you sell Bitcoin. But hey, do you, I guess, huh? AMU, huge run today. Not exactly. Is it AMU? What is it? That's what I have. AMV, maybe. Yes, this thing went on a tear today. And it looks so good for the future. This looks good for tomorrow. What a beautiful, I mean, look, you're a little bit hot on the R side, but not really. You still have room to run. MACD, you still have room to run. You have a huge green candle. You had a long period of consolidation. You have a strong close at almost the high of the day. You have a strong close over this middle band. Unless it comes back down to 453 and it just dies on the vine, which I don't see it happening, you're looking at a continuation tomorrow, no doubt. I would say this gaps up for the open. I'm not sure what's going to happen from there, but I do think it is going to open higher in the morning. VPLM. Look, going on a run. It's consolidating at each level. You had a little bit of consolidation one day, which is always nice, and then you had another push. This thing is very strong right now. It does look very bullish. You do have a lot of green volume, as showed here, but your RSI is getting a little bit hot. Once you hit 80, I would say another day of a run, whatever the high of the day tomorrow is what I would try and sell, because eventually you're going to have a pullback. Now, it could run for 2 more days. It might run through the end of the week. I don't know if there's a suspected catalyst on Monday, but if there is, then you're probably going to want to sell Friday morning, because you will get some sellers into that news, and if the news isn't fucking insane, which it never is, then it will tank. Now, I don't know if that's the case. I'm just speaking hypothetically. Either way, this is a very strong stock. You had the upflow, the downflow, the respect of this middle band, like a son to his father, like a slave to his master, and boom, you had a pop, and now it's running. You had it from 14, now you're at 2-1. This is a very good return on your investment. Don't get greedy. Take it where you can get it. All I'm going to say about that. Philip, PHIL, absolute dilutive. Now, look, you have till Friday, which is 2 days away. You did close at 2-2, which is kind of, but you're losing a little bit of steam up here at the top. You're going to need something huge to come through. Now, remember, whenever they give you due dates, and this is just honesty, again, I could sit here and pump you and say that Phil is the best thing since sliced bread. I could say that they have everything going for them. They're going to pull through on this acquisition. They're going to give them $60 million in cash out of a Mercedes-Benz at a fucking a vacant lot at the shipyard. Okay, I could tell you whatever you want to hear if that's how I would get subscribers, but I'm not here to get subscribers. I'm here to help some people that are going to pay attention. This thing is starting to curl back down. Your MACD is extremely overbought. Your RSI is even above where the previous stock I just showed you was at. So it looks very similar, does it not? You had the pop, you had the upflow, you had the downflow, respect to the middle band, like a son to his father, like a slave to his master, and then pop. Again, same idea. These things run in patterns, but now the pattern is pulling back. If you don't get anything, whatever, I don't think you're going to get shipped by Friday, but even if you do close on this acquisition, you might get a short pop, but then the money is going to start hit the bid. The market makers are going to come in and start dumping, and you are going to be in a world of hurt thinking that it's going to run because the acquisition was closed, and realistically, they have to pay for that acquisition, and it's not going to all be in cash. Whatever, that is mind-boggling that you think that a penny stock CEO would put up 60 million in cash, and you're going to tell me that it's financed, and you're going to tell me that the terms are okay, even though I know that they're not, and there's always a back door. There's always going to be a way to sell shares. I've never seen an acquisition run on that news ever. So that's just me. I'm going to bet against that. If you bought in at 12, then I would be selling at 2. That is a great return. I would not buy back in unless it did seem to be going with no dilution the entire day, and it showed strength, and it was breaking out entirely, and everything looked amazing. That's when I would buy back in. But if you're up 80%, I would just say sell it. That would be my opinion. If yours isn't, that's fine. Do whatever you want to do. Hold until kingdom comes. Hold until God comes back. It's not my account. I don't care. I'm just giving you my opinion. Now, ABSI, again, like I said in ABSI, once you had this break of this middle band here, you're in trouble. I told everybody up top here, I said that eventually this is going to come back. Everybody called me an idiot. Everybody called me a moron. Everyone called me a little lioness. Everyone called me a little ding dong. Everyone called me a little bing bop. That's fine. Call me what you want to call me. But I did call this drop, and I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. Bang, fell below this middle band. It did not respect it. It was like, no, I don't want to even see you right now. I'm going back in my cage, and I'm not coming back out for a very long time. And that's what you're seeing. Now, remember, this was the closing of a merger. Everybody said, the merger is closed. The merger is closed. Super duper 8K. Hey, if it was expected, it was already baked in. You're going to get some selling. Now they're diluting to probably pay for the incoming company, and that's why you're getting tanked on. And you think that it's going to send it to the moon. Sometimes it will. But if you have a shit CEO that you probably thought was the man, by the way, then you might be in trouble. And that's what's happening in ABSI. But pay attention to this because your MACD is extremely oversold. Your RSI is really hot to the downside. So you could get a pop from here. I'm watching it. I'm watching it for around 26, 26, 25, somewhere in there. It's a great buy. It's a great buy, and then you're looking at a double back to 50, okay? Moan. This thing has shown some strength recently. It did have a lot of debt, but it has shown this W formation here quite handily. Boom. And then this is the next leg. And then boom. And then this is the next leg. It's showing like that. Your technicals are slowly on the uptick. You've got a lot more green volume than red volume. So that could show that dilution is at least dwindling. You keep getting this little bit of a push. It could just be the market being good overall. Or it could mean that Molden has finally stopped diluting for at least the meantime. And that would be great because they really need to do that because they've been diluting their shareholders' bones to dust for a minute now. And that's not nice. BIEI. BIEI, and on his farm he had a BIEI. Ooh, ah, ha, ha, he. Okay, I won't do that again. Anyway, BIEI. No, did I say? No, no. Okay, now this one did fill the gap finally today. You are closing underneath this middle band. It does seem like it might come back to, I don't know, two. It just needs news. It needs news to get another flag going. If you get some good news down here, again, you could be looking at almost a double. So it's a gamble, but you do have that gap fill finally that I've been calling for, and everybody said that I was a ding dong, a bing bong, a bop bop, and a chip chop, and that's fine. I don't care what you call me. I was right and you were wrong. It did fill that gap eventually, and now it could either be ready to go back up or it could head into the twos and I'll start loading. Whatever it wants to do, that's fine with me. GVSI. Doesn't seem like it wants to get above 3, but it is pressing hard. It looks a lot like ABSI's chart before it took a shit. Not exactly sure where these filings are. Hopefully the filings come out. They keep saying this week, that week, next year, and it just doesn't seem to happen. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. They could come out 15 minutes from when I'm talking. They could come out in the middle of the night. They could come out first thing in the morning. They could come out midday tomorrow while the trading, right after you sell. I don't know what to tell you. All I know is in the past, like I've been saying, GVSI has been known to say that they have access to OTC IQ and it doesn't happen. That's all I'm saying. Hate me, call me a ding dong, call me a bing bong, and call me a chop chop. I don't care. I'm telling you, this is important that you need to know the history of a stock as much as you want to know the future. And in the past, these guys have not pulled through. Does not mean that they won't now. I'm simply stating what has happened in the past, and that's why even though I can't buy anyway, I would not be buying up here until I had confirmation that they actually followed through and they were ready to pump this. Because I wouldn't want to wait another year. Your technicals are very overbought, by the way. Again, I like this stock. I think it has a tremendous amount of potential. If the filings do come, it has the hype. It has the people behind it. It has the cult following. It could push to dollars, okay? So just see what happens. I'm just not a buyer at this price in particular. Shoot me, kill me, stab me, throw me off a goddamn bridge. I don't care. I'm going to tell the truth. DBMM. Just Flag City. This is like pennant Paul right here. You got the obvious push up and the long pennant, the push up, the long pennant, respecting this bottom line. It's just, or this middle line, this orange band. It's been a roller coaster on the MACD, but all on the top end. This is a very powerful stock. It's very bullish. The RSI is turning down. Are you going to have another little bit of a drop down to 2? That seems like what it's going to do. And then I don't know what's going to happen after that. I don't know if it's going to flag and run again like it did before. I don't know if it's going to flag and drop and give me an opportunity for an entry. But this is like, if you're holding it, you could get a third run. It could be the third leg of the Elliott wave. Boom, bop, bing, beep, beep, bop. Okay, so pay attention to that one. It could run. Not exactly sure, but I am going to keep an eye on it and see if it goes outside that flag. You got Tesla finally seeing a little bit of a pushback today, which is great. Now, you're up at this middle band, which is at 128.66. Are you going to cross above that, or is this merely a pop back to that middle band out of respect for what Tesla has done in the past? But according to my calculations, you just have Mercedes come out with the first self-driving car that's completely like FDA approved or whatever the fuck they need for that bullshit. So that's where you're going to lose steam. That's where you're going to lose traction. Are you going to get a little bit of a hype push because it's been beaten down so heavily over the past couple months? Maybe. I think that your MACD is showing signs of recovery. You got the pinch here in the cross. You have the green started. You have the RSI very low. Like I said, it has been beaten. So if it is going to run and it does get back to 200, 165, 170, somewhere in that area, you might as well sell because I don't know what it's going to do from there. Now, it could keep running, but I just don't see anything about Tesla that keeps my interest or makes me excited at all right now, other than the fact that there could be a meme stock in the short term. AMC, good for those guys. Listen, I beat up on AMC people all the time. It's kind of like part of my whole shtick because, a lot of people told told me that I was an asshole back when it was at 70 for saying there wasn't going to be a short squeeze that sent it to 250. Now this is a stock that's worth $2. I live right by LA Live. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I went to see Avatar on opening night, or at least I went by to see if it was sold out. There was 8 tickets sold, and that's downtown Los Angeles, right outside of Hollywood at LA Live, probably one of the nicest theaters, right across the street from Staples Center, and this shit had nobody in it. So, you know, but hey, look, you had let's just go with the technicals for now. I don't care because it has been beaten the fuck down. So you are in a good position. I'm bullish on AMC, okay? For the first time in my life, I told you guys when it was at 70 that it was going back to 5. I told you when it was at 70, there was a chance it goes back to 2 because that's what it's worth. I've been saying that for years. And it eventually, finally, and everyone told me I was dumb. Everyone tried to block me. Everybody tried to shun me. And what happened? It came all the way back to exactly where I said it would. Now, you have a great amount of push. You have a lot of green volume. You could be done. The shorts could be trapped. Not to send it to $250, but to give you another 30 to 40% from here. You might pull up to, I don't know, $6, $7. If you get up there, sell it. You got a good return on your investment. If you've been averaging down and your average is anywhere near 7, just get out with break even. Either way, your MACD, this might have a lot more room to run. I'm just saying what I would do, but you do have a great setup on the MACD, pinching and popping over, just starting on the green side. Your RSI is not in the hot zone yet. You're closing over this middle band. I am bullish on AMC. I love the look. Be your... Just an incredible stock, 24% more today. This could run more tomorrow. It didn't come back to that middle line yet. And usually when it has this high level consolidation with a lot of volume, which is what it had, it churns out a lot of sellers, especially from the bottom. Now it could cause a drop to 375, somewhere in that area. That's where the middle band is at. That's where I would personally buy because I do never want to chase something up 500% in 2 days. But it could keep running. It could run another 500% from here. Not what I'm saying. It has showed extreme strength. It's not on my buy list, but your MACD is not overbought. Your RSI is not overbought. You are closing strong with heavy volume above this middle band. So anything goes at this point. It could run higher or it could drop down. It's really, there's no way to call it. That's why I can't map it and that's why I won't buy it. But if you're in it, congratulations. And I hope it goes even further for you. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say today. And, the market makers, they are not your friend. You have to follow the money in and out. It is the most important thing in the market. I can't tell you much more than that, other than what I'm going to show you in the episodes to come. So stay tuned. I will get a lot deeper into L2, L3, the ways that these scammers can see the market makers or these houses, the nights and all. There's specific locations. They have CEOs, they have workers for them, and they have the inside information. They know when the company's going to put out news. They know when the company's going to dilute. They have the upper hand. It's actually highway robbery. This is what old Vegas was built on, was junk bonds, these penny stocks. There is so much money made in these things. They should be illegal, but there's a reason they're not. So until tomorrow, just remember, they're all scams. Have a good night.